Now this is saying nothing more than if a voltage is applied to the crystal, it will vibrate. The amplitude of these vibrations are much greater at one frequency than at any other frequency. Now this one particular frequency is called the natural resonant frequency of the crystal. Now let's look at some of the crystal substances that possess the piezoelectric characteristics. They are Rochelle salt, tourmaline, and quartz. I know all of you at one time or another have heard of diamond cutting. The reason a diamond is cut is to give it brilliance, and the manner in which it's cut will determine its degree of brilliance. Now, a piece of diamond in its natural form would never be used in a diamond ring, just as a piece of quartz crystal would never be used in an oscillator circuit. Now, when a piece of crystal is going to be cut, imaginary lines are used as the reference points for cutting. And these imaginary lines are known as crystal axes. Let's take a look at this drawing of a crystal and see the exact location of the crystal axis. The axis passing from point to point, or end to end, and directly through the crystal is known as the z-axis. Remember, from end to end, directly through the center. The axis passing through the corners of the crystals is known as the x-axis. Remember, it goes through the corners. While the axis perpendicular to the faces of the crystal is known as the y-axis, going through the faces. Now let's remember, these are only imaginary lines and are used as reference points when cutting the crystal. Now, all crystals are not cut in exactly the same manner, just as all diamonds are not cut exactly the same. The properties which a crystal exhibits are dependent on the manner in which it's cut. Now, there are many different cuts, but we're only going to examine 3 basic cuts. Let's go to this chart and see exactly how we make these 3 particular cuts. The first cut is made perpendicular to the x-axis, which you will recall passed through the corners of the crystal, perpendicular to that axis and parallel to the z-axis. Let's go over and I want to show you the actual cuts now. I have here 3 crystal cuts. Now, as you can see, they look like small, thin wafers, and each cut looks very similar. Each cut looks very similar. Now, all crystals look the same, but not all will exhibit the same characteristics. Now, you'll recall earlier we mentioned the resonant frequency of the crystal. Not all crystals naturally will have the same resonant frequency. Its frequency will be dependent upon its thickness. Let's take a look at 2 pieces of crystal cuts and compare this difference in thickness. As you can see, the thinner cut here, the thicker cut here. We're indicating here that the vibration of this thinner cut, or the frequency, is greater than this cut. Now, this will always hold true. The thinner the crystal cut, the higher the frequency of oscillation.